ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 241 यो ब्रह्मवेद ब्रह्मैव भवत्येव इति श्रुतिं श्रुत्वा तदेकचित्तः सन् ब्रह्मवेत्ति न चेतरत्. So Vidyaranya is commenting upon the Jnana Phala, result of this knowledge, given in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad mantra 4.4.12. Atmanam chet vijaniyat ayamasmi iti purushah kimichan kasya kamaya shariram. And so shariram anusanjvaret indicates a phalam. We call it as a anujvara nivritti. Means freedom from the notion that I am a sufferer. Freedom from the notion that I am a sufferer, because dropping the notion that I am the body. That was a notion, error. So once that is dropped, of course the body is all the time associated with the different types of problems. All the three bodies have a different problems. We have discussed that thing. So that will be always there, based on prarabdha, etc. But the notion that I am a sufferer, etc. will go away, which we call, based on the suffering of the body, which is we call jvara. I have a notion that I am sufferer. That is called anujvara. So anujvara nivritti, due to the knowledge that I, the Sakshi, is ever free, was free, and is free and will be free from this suffering. So that is called anujvara nivritti. That's a jnana phala. And this jnanam is gained by an individual who has got three components. When we say word I, whether a jnani or a ajnani, understanding of I is different in both. That is a different issue. But then when a person says I, it's always a mixture. Mixture of three components we have seen. One is a Sakshi, and either, suppose if you want to say two components also, you can say Sakshi and Ahankara. Or else Sakshi, Chidabhasa, and the medium, that is three bodies. And and these three can never be physically separable. So they always coexist. And one cannot be without two. So who gains Brahma Jnanam, Aham Brahmasmi, who says? Well, our straight answer is the mixture. Mixture alone knows, mixture alone tells also. The knower is, the knower of Brahman, basically, is a mixture. And why not the Sakshi is knower? Because I am Sakshi, he is saying. Then Sakshi has to tell I am Sakshi. No, that is not possible. Sakshi is not a knower. Knower has to tell, right? I am Brahman. So that is, after gaining knowledge, he has to tell. So he is a knower naturally. Then once you say he knower, then alone, pure Sakshi, the Sakshi cannot say that. Sakshi is not a knower at all. Sakshi is Sakshi. That's it. This is knowledge. Sakshi is a knowledge. That is the knowledge. if you have a element of a knower in a sakshi, a real element in a sakshi, that still I think one has to work with oneself in Nididhyasana. Sakshi is sakshi. That's it. There is nothing other than sakshi, in fact. Then only it happens to be Brahman. When you say that there is nothing other than the sakshi, one all-pervading, non-dual self, well, that I am, then definitely there is knower in that. There is no knower. But anyway, so sakshi is not a knower. And and this the Chidabhasa cannot exist independent of this sakshi, and therefore when you say Chidabhasa, already the sakshi is included in that, and so it cannot say. And reflecting medium is Jadam, it cannot say. So when you say pure Chidabhasa says, Pramata means Chidabhasa. Well, but there is nothing called pure Chidabhasa because it doesn't exist independently. Sakshi is already there. So Sakshi is not a knower. Chidabhasa cannot exist independently, therefore it cannot say just that I am a Sakshi. Because when Chidabhasa says I am Sakshi, then it is Chidabhasa plus Sakshi is there. So therefore, just I am saying like that. So Chidabhasa also cannot exist independently. And this reflecting medium, all the three bodies are Jadam, they cannot be the knower, right? And so, if you try to separate them, suppose anyone doesn't know, and so knowledge gained by the mixture, and generally out of these three, we take Chidabhasa as a knower, Pramata, but that we should know. Why we take this Chidabhasa as a knower? We don't take the Sakshi as a knower, because it is not a knower. And reflecting medium, the three bodies cannot say I am a knower, etc. of Brahman, and because it is Jadam. And therefore Chidabhasa, which is the only leftover in these three, can say that I am a knower of Brahman. And the reason is what? Reflecting medium by itself is Jadam, so cannot be the knower, cannot tell the knower. And Sakshi cannot tell that I am a knower of this, because when you say the knower, definitely it involves a vikara, right? Pramata, the knower of a dream world is different from the knower of the waking world. And also the knower arises and resolves also. In deep sleep state there is no knower. In waking state, knower keeps changing. The knower of a one thing, knower of a touch, knower of a color and form, knower of a smell, knower of a taste, naturally. So it continuously, definitely undergoes a change. And therefore, the Sakshi, which is Nirvikaraha, cannot be the knower. Reflecting medium, of course, these three bodies will definitely cannot tell I am the knower. And therefore, we'll say the Chidabhasa only can tell I am a knower. So Chidabhasa has this unique status. And what is the status of Chidabhasa? Chidabhasa is not an entity. Chidabhasa is an experiential entity. Chidabhasa is not a real entity. And because Chidabhasa means definitely Chidabhasa has a Chetanamsha also. Because conscious. So borrowed from Sakshi. And Chidabhasa definitely being a Vikari, definitely it has element of this medium also. It has an element of medium, the body. Also Chidabhasa is a very limited entity, and therefore definitely the limitations of the body is there. So Jada Amsha also is there and Chetanamsha is there, because Chidabhasa happens to be conscious, and therefore it's a mixture of both. Chidabhasa is a mixture of Chetanam and Achetanam, and Chetanam Achetanam mixture cannot take place. If Chetanam Achetanam mixture can take place, then light and darkness also can be mixed. But that cannot happen. Then we are saying Chidabhasa. That's how I say. There is no entity as such. You can create an entity by mixing two things which are compatible to each other. Two opposite things cannot be mixed together. And therefore still you perceive, you experience such an entity, then the reality is only experiential reality. There is no other reality. Therefore, there is no entity called Jiva. There is no entity called Pramada. And therefore, this thing we should remember, this Chidabhasa, which is a no, generally a knower, it is always with the reflecting medium and the Sakshi. So Vidyaranya says this Chidabhasa Pramata has gained this knowledge, and after doing Viveka with the help of the Shastra, Chidabhasa has a choice for an alliance with the either of the two. And well, whether it should claim identity with the three bodies. When it claims, Chidabhasa claims that I am male, I am young, well, I have a knee pain, etc., then definitely the Chidabhasa has an alliance with the three bodies. And Chidabhasa says Nitya Shuddha. I am Nitya Shuddha. I am just a witness consciousness of everything, and I am non-dual, I am all pervading, etc., etc. Then Chidabhasa has an alliance with the Sakshi. We have to say Chidabhasa is a knower. Then we have to talk about now Chidabhasa has alliance with what? And definitely the knower of Brahman, when Chidabhasa says I am a knower of Brahman, definitely he has an alliance with the Sakshi. Anyway, so basically the gaining knowledge means definitely your alliance will differ. Chidabhasa only is a knower of the world, still ignorant of oneself. And that Chidabhasa, well, definitely says, I am a Pramata, I am a knower. That's a reality for the Chidabhasa. That's a reality for the I. And it has an alliance with the three bodies. He has to change the mindset now, after gaining knowledge of the self. Well, that I am Sakshi, etc. So initially, you say that I am a Chidabhasa, etc. And Sakshi is my higher nature, etc. But even that language has to be modified later, because language changes my mindset. So instead of claiming like this, better you claim I am a Sakshi with incidental nature of a Chidabhasa, Pramata, etc. I am a Pramata in a Vyavara. That's it. When I do a Jnana Vyavara, I am a Pramata. When I do a Karma Vyavara, I am a Karta. But basically, I am a Sakshi. That's a mindset one should have. So, and that mindset can come only by this Nididhyasanam, etc., that we discussed also. So, and that there is, and this also we should know that this kind of a change of a mindset cannot happen suddenly. So people say, well, just you can change your mindset by just some mystic experience, and you start saying I'm a Sakshi, etc. And suddenly, so that thing will never happen, because one requires to change this mindset. I am Chidabhasa, from that I am Sakshi. That mindset requires first a Nishchaya, then Sankalpa and Abhyasa. Three things are required to change the mindset. And I have to decide that mindset, well, now means I am a Sakshi, and incidental nature of myself is the Pramatrutvam or a Jiva, etc. That's my incidental nature. And it is incidental. We know also Pramatrutvam, etc. is incidental. It is there, it is not there. And even if it is there, it is constantly changing. So, well, I have to take this resolve, this vow, and I have practiced this changing the mindset. And that takes time. And Vidyaranya gives example for that. Yauvarajyam Pattabhishekam. So basically, in verse number 240, I'm just referring that. So you here, he gave an example of a prince who is coronated as a next king, etc. Still, he is not a king because his father is there, but he has been coronated as a next king, etc. Then he should definitely imitate well as a king. Raja Anukari Bhavati. So even though he has not become the king, he starts imitating that he is a king. Same way here, tatha, in the same manner, I am Sakshi Anukari Bhavati. Well, when I change the mindset, that till today I was saying that I am a Chidabhasa, etc. And I am a Samsari, I am this, I am that. And now you come to know that, well, you are a Sakshi. So, definitely you have to change your mindset. So, you have been coronated as a Sakshi. This is also because here the Samrajyam is a Moksha Samrajyam. And therefore, Now you are coronated in a moksha samrajyam, for a moksha samrajyam. Then you have to change mindset. And that when you change the mindset, still you are not totally clear that I am Brahman or a Sakshi. But definitely you have to, imitate that you are a Sakshi. That's what it is. You have all the time. I mean, you have to entertain the thoughts that I'm a Sakshi. I'm a Sakshi. I'm a Sakshi. I witness consciousness of things. But Swamiji, I get tired with this. I am Sakshi. What this? I am Sakshi. Change it. I am Brahman. Change it that I am reality. Like that. What is experience is mithya. What never goes, never comes back is this Brahman, etc. Several things are there. One can, because one has an exposure to the teaching, and every text describes this Atma or Brahman, etc. in various ways. Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Buddha, Nitya Mukta. Several ways it has been described. So one can pick up anything. But that is the mind. That should be the mindset ultimately to get establish yourself into Sakshi. Just as this person, that prince, after coronation, all the time imitates the behavior of the king until he establish really as a king. Same way here. So that is what has been told. And in that the obstacles are going to come, because mind is going to bring lots of excuses. When you start doing this, mind will bring some obstacles. No, that cannot be the thing. That cannot be the thing. That cannot be, etc., etc. Sometimes we take an example of the world also, because no one says this. Not a single person you find anywhere you meet in this life, not a single person tells that I am a Sakshi. Everyone tells I am a human being, this, etc. And therefore sometimes you feel, is this a reality or what? We may feel like also. So mind also comes up with various excuses, or mind has its own issues also. Suppose you have a lot of Shraddha and you say, well, no, that is not the thing, and this is what Shastra says is right. But then still various issues are there in the mind. And so you identify again and again, and you say you are lacking in qualification, I am lacking in qualification, I am lacking in qualification. So you are Sakshi, you are not the mind, and you have no connection to the mind. You are not the mind is not really the solution. I have no connection to the mind. If I am not the mind, but I am connected to the mind. Like I am not my son, but well, I am connected to my son. And then through connection one flows. Yeah? Through connection one flows. The father flows into the son through connection. You have no connection. Care of Drigdrisha Viveka. Therefore, mind, nothing, Sakshi has no connection whatsoever with anything, because there is nothing other than the Sakshi. That's it. There you should not give any excuse. There are other things, but that is Anatma, which is opposite to Atma. Never say that. Never say that. You don't have a knowledge of Sakshi, much less you have a knowledge of this Anatma also. You have no knowledge of Atma, much less you have knowledge of Anatma. Knowledge of Atma means there is nothing other than Atma. That's it. There is nothing other. But I am experiencing. What you experience need not be true, and it is not true. What you experience is never true. That's Vedanta. What is experienced is true is ignorance. What is experienced is not true is Vedanta. What is experienced is because of which you experience that. That's a reality. What you experience is not true. Means the fact that you are able to experience it reveals the reality. Pervaded by consciousness, only one can experience. It's an object of experience, object of consciousness, object of knowledge. We as such, we say like that. In experience, we say, this is an object of my knowledge. Object of knowledge, the word knowledge, you replace it by consciousness. That's a reality. And therefore, object of consciousness. Everything is an object of consciousness, not consciousness. Pervaded by consciousness alone, it has a reality. Pervaded by consciousness, it has an existence. Pervaded by consciousness, it is illumining. And therefore, basically, the consciousness is a reality. And therefore, because the object comes and goes, appears in consciousness, resolves in consciousness, and therefore consciousness never comes and never goes. And therefore, this is what in Drigdrisha Viveka also in 5th verse, Very beautifully said. No deti nastameti. Isha samvit swayam prabha. Isha samvit swayam prabha, which is a self-effulgent consciousness, na udeti. It never rises. Na astameti. It never subsides. Right? And therefore, so you while changing the, you change the mindset in which you imitate now. Even if you are if you are not so clear that you are a sakshi, you have got a teaching, but you have not equated the sakshi with yourself, and that clarity is still not there. But at least imitate during a waking state that I am a sakshi, which will ultimately help you to establish into sakshi. Through that is called nididhyasana. That is a nididhyasana. That imitation is a nididhyasana, which will remove this vipirita bhavana, etc. And in this verse 241 also we saw, and so that abhyasa has to be done during a waking state, etc. In support of that, Vidyaranya quoted this Mundaka Upanishad mantra 3-9. Yaha Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. That's a iti Shrutim Shutva. Yaha Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. One who knows Brahman, will become Brahman. One who knows the 10th man will become 10th man. Means he was 10th man. That's it. By knowing one cannot become. And therefore one who knows 10th man becomes 10th man. Means he was a 10th but was not knowing that he is a 10th. Well, now he owns up that he is a 10th. So, such a statement, Shrutim Shutva, having heard that, tad ekachitta san, and therefore ekachitta san, he resolves now. Or let's say he dwells, that's better. So, it is Shrutim Shutva tad ekachitta san brahmavetti. Let's add that. Ekachitta san brahmavetti. So, with the mind, I'm gaining this knowledge, and now with this mind, he dwells in Brahman. Ekachitta means he constantly dwelling in this Brahman. That thought pattern, should be generated, and that is where the wheel is employed, definitely. So he generates this thought pattern that I am Sakshi, etc. He preserves this thought pattern. He nourishes that thought pattern. That is, we can call it imitation or etc. Anyway, but here not so. Imitation means he is going to be the king, but now he behaves as a king, like in case of prince. Same way here. We all are prince and princesses, etc. So, Brahmavetti, etc. So, this is what example is. I am not trying to say something, but that's an example given here. So coronation is what? Coronation is the gaining knowledge. Shravanam Mananam is the coronation, by which you are clear that you are Sakshi, but you are not established into that. Anyway, so Nacha Itarat, nothing else. So when a Prarabdha also brings a certain problem, etc., he doesn't run around for Parihara. So, because once you run around for a Parihara, once you run around for in the world for solutions, you are not imitating as a Sakshi. You are really established that you are samsari, right? Because I'm suffering. I have to get rid of this problem. I'm suffering. I have to get rid of this problem. Then where is the imitation that I am Sakshi? So therefore, Nachaitra, no other means other than in a waking state, this person all the time, Ekachitta san Brahmavetti means here in this sense, it dwells on Brahman as oneself. Brahman, Sakshi as oneself. Such kind of thoughts one should generate by one's will, and one should preserve those thoughts and also nourishes in our mind. Let's go to verse 242. Devatvakama hyagnadau pravishanti yatha tatha sakshitvena vasheshaya svavinasham savanchati. So by systematically nourishing this new mindset, means I am a problem-free Sakshi, I am free from jvaras, etc. In fact, even Chidabhasa has no problem, that also we have seen. Chidabhasa, etc., identifying with the jvara of the Sharira Trayam only says that I am having a problem. But actually, basically, I am a Sakshi. As a Chidabhasa also no problem, but this person knows now that he is a Sakshi, and Therefore, he tries to preserve these thoughts. And so, its claim about that I am a samsari, etc., should be drowned now in the claiming moksha, freedom. Sakshi, when you say it is free, there is no factor which can affect. The nature of Sakshi is such that in which no factor can affect it. The factor of a time, factor of a place, factor of any other object. Nothing can affect this consciousness. And therefore, I am basically free from getting affected by anything. So, well, such a kind of I'm affected, I'm a sufferer, etc., that kind of a claim is drowned now in the claiming that I am a Nitya Mukta, Sakshi, etc. So they give an example of a, in a marriage, I think there is a Mangalya Dharanam, they call. And at the time, they used to play a Nadaswaram, etc. The four things are considered very, very Mangaladhvani. And one is this Veena. Second is a Venu, the flute. And the third is this Nadaswaram. And fourth is Omkara. All these four sounds are considered Mangaladhvani. And so even though there is some apashruti is there in Nadaswaram and he is playing, some swara he has missed, still it is Mangalya. And the significance is during that time, the lady, I think they put that Mangala Sutra, etc., and then time they play this Nadaswaram. And at that time, suppose the marriage is going on in the next door, then the neighbor is crying loudly because her husband has beaten or something, or she has remembered some pain and she was crying so loudly. It's a amangalam. But then this in this dhvani, in the sound of this nadaswaram, which is very mangalam, that amangala dhvani basically is drowned. Same way, this mangala sakshi mindset, definitely, even though it is noisy, Swamiji, it is not easy, it's really conflicting. Whenever I say I am Satchit, there are a lot of conflict occurs. Don't worry, this is a Nadaswaram. Keep doing that. And therefore, the Amangala Shabda which I have produced, that I am Chidabhasa and I am this and I am Sapara, that will be drowned in that. That's what it means here. So, this is how basically you will be established in Sakshi. So, he gives an example here, very, very peculiar examples he gives, which we never know otherwise. Yatha devatva kamaha agnyadau hi pravishanti. So there are people who want to become devatas. Because naturally, as a deva, you can definitely get a best comforts and your best body to enjoy those comforts. So bhogas, etc. So in our Shastra, there are ways shown how to gain a devatva yoni. To become deva, well, there are certain types of deaths prescribed. First, one thing you know very well, dying in a Kashi Maranam is considered as if you die there, well, definitely you will gain, they call moksha, but definitely we should say here moksha means going to a higher loka, etc., deva, etc. And that's how there are so many people from Gujarat also. I know few people, they in the last few years of their life, they live in Kashi and waiting for the death so that they will gain a higher loka, means deva, devatva yoni, etc. Similarly, other types of maranam also, deaths can give you, that is talked about in Shastra, for higher gati. And one is a Agni Pravesha. If you enter alive in the fire, deliberately, not that you will be set on fire. You enter into a fire while you will gain a higher loka. Then Ganga Pravesha. You enter just into the river, especially Ganga. You enter into a Prayaga, confluence of the river. Prayaga Pravesha also means giving up the body naturally. And by the way, it reminds me of one Shankaracharya of Shringeri who has entered into the water of Tungabhadra, because the Tungabhadra flows through the ashram, Shankar Mat, Shringeri Mat. It flows through, in between. And I think that the Nrsimha Bharati's teacher, the earlier than that, Shankaracharya ji, I think was Chida. It starts with Ch. I don't remember now, who has written a commentary on Vivek Chudamani, very beautiful commentary. He, one day in the early morning, he just walked into Tungabhadra and gave up the body. So anyway, now he would not have that thing that I will gain a Devatvani, but this is how he entered. Anyway, ultimately, because the sannyasis cannot be given fire, right? His body should not be put in fire. Then naturally, the other elements only are there now. Either Prithvi, means you put into the earth his body, or you make his body flow in the rivers. So this is how. Anyway, so Agni Pravesha, Ganga Pravesha, Prayaga Pravesha, or Kashi and Kashi Pravesha. You enter into Kashi and live there. These are the means of removing your lower status in future, when gaining a higher loka, etc. So that's what he says here. Yatha devatva kamaha agnyadau pravishanti. Agnyadau pravishanti means at the time of maranam, this person enters into the fire. So, okay, and what is the comparison here? Because you are giving this example, what's the comparison? Well, a person wants to remove his lower status and he wants to claim a higher status, then definitely enters into a fire. What is a fire? Jnana-agni. Okay? And therefore, here Jnana-agni pravesha. So through Nidhyasanam, he enters into this fire of the knowledge, and he wants to give up his lower status. I am a Chidabhasa, I am this, I am a sufferer, etc., etc. I am a human being. I am small. Ultimately, everything has one note, and that is I am small. That's it. Samsara, if you want to define in one line, is this: I am small. Whatever you say. Identifying with the three bodies, whatever you want to say, you say. Even you say I am a prime minister, suppose. I am not, but I am telling you. And then, still you are small. If you have to drop S and M both, I am all. That's a knowledge. That's a knowledge. Which is reality, unnecessarily suffering. This Chidavasa having alliance with the three bodies, the very first notion is I am small. And whenever you drop that sense of smallness, that's called moment of happiness. Either in a waking state or in a deep sleep state. You drop. That's it. That's a samsara nivritti. Experientially, the moment of joy is a dropping the notion that I am small, which converts into the knowledge that I am all. That's a reality for you now. And knowing that the sense of smallness goes forever. And therefore, so a lower status, I am Chidabhasa, localized, small, limited. And such a lower status one can give up entering into the fire. Jnana-agni in Nididhyasana. That's it. That much is a comparison. Please don't dwell upon this Drishtanta lot. Otherwise you get lost into that, really speaking. Because this kind of thing, we never like this kind of entering into the fire and gaining higher loka, etc. Perhaps some person may not believe it also. So, but this is just a comparison with the thing. So, by entering into this fire of knowledge, he wants to remove this jivatva status. In that place, he says, I am a sakshi. That's what he wants to become. Tatha swavinasham saha vanchati. Mumukshu wants to, destroy this swavinasham, means this lower status he wants to destroy. Saha vanchati, ichchati. He enters, I am a pramata, I am a hankara, I am Chidabhasa, etc. And for what purpose? Why he wants to destroy his lower status? For claiming higher status. So, sakshitvena avasheshaya. So, we have to add again. Sakshitvena avasheshaya swavinasham vanchati. Chidabhasa vinasham vanchati. Sakshitvena avasheshaya. Definitely, for gaining a higher status called sakshi, he wants to destroy this, the lower status called Chidabhasa. There is no physical destruction of a Chidabhasa, but Mithyatva Nishchaya alone is a destruction. And he does it through Nididhyasana, which we generally call as a Brahmabhyasa. That's what I said. So one cannot suddenly, start saying, not I am a Sakshi. I am not a Chidabhasa. So at 8:34, at 8:34 he was saying I am a Jiva. And in 8:40 he started saying I am Sakshi. This is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There is no sudden, some mystic experience and something will happen. Nishchaya is required, and then Abhyasa also is required, which we call Nididhyasana. So one of the type of Nididhyasana is a Brahmabhyasa. Brahmabhyasa means this: Tat Chintanam, Tat Kathanam, Anyonyam, Tat Prabodhanam, Etadek Paratvam cha Brahmabhyasam Vidurbuddhaha. This is in Yoga Vasishta. So Vidyaranya has quoted, and we have seen also in earlier chapter. So this is Brahmabhyasa, which is called entering into the fire of knowledge. And that will definitely destroy Chidabhasa. Means it will turn to Mithya. It is Mithya, he has understood. But claiming again and again, I am Chidabhasa, giving reality to that, slowly will go away. And so, this is through Nididhyasanam he can do that. So there is no Vasanakshaya and Manonasha and all these things are not there here. Vasanakshaya means basically people are thinking that this kind of thing has to happen and then Nirvikalpa Samadhi, etc. Because Vasana basically indicates a presence of a mind. And therefore, getting rid of Vasana ultimately leads to destroying the mind only. Why? Because Vasanas basically are, infinite in number, and they are Aneka Janma Sampraktaha. In a beginningless time, thousands and thousands, billions of experiences are there, and those have generated different impressions in my mind. You cannot exhaust them, and therefore, basically, that is not possible, removing the Vasana, etc. Only you should know that you are a Sakshi which is free from Vasana, free from mind. Where are the Vasanas? In the mind, ultimately. You can say subconscious mind. What else? Wherever you say. Or you say Karana Sharira. Let's say. But ultimately, when you say I am a Sakshi, you are already free from Vasanas. Already free from mind, already free from all the three bodies. So, if a Vasana, Kshaya, etc. is a moksha, definitely you eternally seek moksha. That's not possible. It's impossible. So stop this idea and claim present freedom that I am a Sakshi, etc. Okay. Verse 243. Yavat swadehadaham saha naratvam naiva munchati yavadarabda deham syat nabhasattva vimochanat. So in previous shloka, we talked about this Chidabhasa Nasha, etc., giving up the lower status, etc., by entering into the fire. Now he clarifies that this Chidabhasa, which we already said, but he now clarifies that Chidabhasa cannot be destroyed physically. To destroy Chidabhasa, the Chidabhasa should be an entity first. If you want to really physically destroy Chidabhasa should be physical entity. There is no entity called Chidabhasa. And therefore, definitely, it is just you are experiencing and it has the reality. And therefore, here, destruction is understanding that there is no entity called Chidabhasa. Falsification, Mithyatva. And so, when mirror will be there, the bodies will be there, the reflection will be there. And reflection can be destroyed in two ways. Yeah, that's there. Reflection can be destroyed in two ways. One is you break the mirror. Right? So, destruction of the reflection. Or you understand that the reflection is mithya. That's it. And it happens to be reflection. It does not happen to me. I am the one who is reflected into that. I am Sakshi who is getting reflected into the medium. But basically, that's not a reality. So, that is also destruction of Chidabhasa. So, either mirror is a concave or a convex, etc. The reflection will be distorted accordingly only. But it is really not my problem. My face is a spotless face. People are interested in spotless face. All the spots are in the mirror, okay? That is what it is. So here, spotless. See, they apply so many things on black spot and this spot and that spot, and keep on applying something. Spotless face. All the spots are in mirror. I am spotless. That's a reality. Anyway, same way, well, falsification of Chidabhasa, Jivan Mukti Kali. Destruction of a Chidabhasa, Videha Mukti Kali. And this is all onlookers standpoint, ignorant people's standpoint. Considering two muktis is a ignorant person's standpoint. Please understand this. Jnani never says, I will get mukti. Never says. He says, I am Nitya Mukta. I was free. I did a mistake of taking myself that I am a bound person. I am limited, I am small. I was never bound. I am not bound. I am not going to be bound. Even if some error occurs, we are going to discuss. Due to vasanas, that thought keeps coming. I'm a human being. I'm mind. I'm this. We are going to discuss that. But basically, still, he knows for sure, I am ever free. There is no Videha Mukti. Nitya Mukta. Videha Mukti means right now, no. Later, free. And Jivan Mukti also. Jivan Mukti. While living itself, now I am free. While living itself, now I am free. What about previous thing? No, I was not free. What kind of a Brahman you knew? Brahman was not bound before by ignorance, etc. Brahman was Brahman. You committed a mistake due to ignorance. That basically I am Jiva, etc. and so bound. That instead of Brahman, that Adhishthanam, right, regarding which you have a confusion. Brahman does not have that confusion, and Brahman was not bound also. And therefore, basically, Videha Mukti Kale, Chidabhasa get destroyed anyway, like mirror destroyed. And Jivan Mukti Kale, there is a falsification of the Chidabhasa. So this is how it is. Looking upon Chidabhasa as just a reflection. It's a manifestation in the mind. The mind itself is a mithya. And therefore the reflection in the mind also is a mithya, etc. So Yavat Swadeha Daham, he extended that example, earlier example. You know, an example of the people entering in through the fire for gaining higher loka, etc. So, in example of that also, Yavat Swadeha Daham Saha Naratvam Naiva Munchati. Like in example of the people entering into the fire, until his body completely burnt, his Manushatva status will not go totally, right? His Manushatva status will continue till his body gets completely burnt. So similarly, Jnani also will continue to have a Jivatva status. So said Jivan Muktaha. So therefore, Yavat Arabdha Deham Syad, as long as Prarabdha continues, body mind continues, well, and Jnani doesn't do Manonasha, cannot do Manonasha, only falsification, that I am Asanga Chaitanyam. Basically, there is nothing other than mind which through or to which I am connected, or I am not the mind, etc. And therefore, so mind continues, the Pramatrutvam continues, Ahankara continues, experience continues, Chidabhasa continues definitely, because if mind continues, the Dampati Chidabhasa also continues. Anyway, so either you say Ahankara continues, either you say Jiva continues, Mithya Jiva continues, either you say Mithya Ahankara continues, or Chidabhasa continues, either. Well, to make the noises if they continue. So, but this Aham Brahmasmi, this Jnanam, that which has, through Nididhyasanam, he has lighted up this fire. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Nitya Mukta, etc. In that Jnanam, the noise of this Chidabhasa gets drowned. So, Abhasattva Mochanam Nasyat. Well, one cannot get freedom from the Chidabhasa, it will continue even after knowledge. But this, and the Chidabhasa will definitely, Ahankara has its own Prarabdha, and that Prarabdha also will be there and will give Sukha Dukkham, etc. But it is that Prarabdha Dukkham can be overpowered by this Jnana Ananda. I am limitless consciousness, which is Asangam, which is ever free. And therefore, Chidabhasa cannot be eliminated totally. It cannot be destroyed. Mind cannot be destroyed. You can say Manonasha cannot happen totally. Vasanakshaya cannot happen totally. This is what Vidyaranya's standpoint. Verse 244. So, Rajjujnyanepi kampadihi shanairevopasamyati punarmandandakare sa rajjushikto ragi bhavet. Now the technical problem comes. Normally what happens is karana nashe karya nasha, we say. So tantu nashe patanasha. When tantu itself is burnt, right, the fibers, etc., then the cloth will automatically get burnt. So this ahankara is born of prarabdha, etc., you said. And then through karma, etc., all three types of karma, sanchita, agami, prarabdha, everything is there. From that, a lot of sanchita, fructifies, and and ahankara is ultimately karta bhokta, that has given rise to those karmas also, you can say. And ahankara is born of ignorance. And then definitely if ignorance is gone, the ahankara goes. If ahankara goes, then definitely now, then basically once the jnanam takes place, ajnanam goes away, karmas should be destroyed, because karmas are basically born of ahankara, karta bhokta. Ahankara is born of ignorance. Ignorance goes away, then ahankara is destroyed, or karma is destroyed. And therefore, why should you say sanchita and agami are avoided? Prarabdha also should be destroyed. And how prarabdha continues? We are not able to accept it. Because after you say, this is, he gave example. Rajju jnane apihi kalpadihi shanaihi eva upashamyate, etc. In that, I will explain you first the example. Like, when you gain a Rajju jnanam, what is projected on the Rajju, born of Rajju, which is of course a projection, in that sarpa, the sarpa goes away totally. The sarpa is a karyam, Rajju is a karanam. So when definitely Rajju ajnanam is a karanam. So when ajnanam goes away and you know that is a Rajju, then sarpa cannot remain in totality. And therefore, still you say the head of sarpa is only gone. Now the tail part is remained, slowly the tail part also will go. This kind of thing you are talking. You say, sanchita and agami will be destroyed. Ajnanam has gone, then ahankara should be destroyed. And if ahankara is destroyed, then the born of ahankara, all the types of karmas should be destroyed. Now you say, prarabdha continues. So karanam, ahankara get destroyed, and because of the ignorance also is destroyed. Then, how come this prarabdha continues? It's like telling that the head of the snake continues and tail, or that gets destroyed and tail continues. It goes, whole thing goes. When Rajju Ajnanam goes away, by the Jnanam of a Rajju, the whole Sarpa will go away. So same way karmas also should go away totally. Prarabdha also should not remain, etc., etc. We have to answer, because then in this case, if we accept this, then there is no Jivan Mukti. As one gains a knowledge, the person will go away naturally. All the karmas means prarabdha also will go away. The person will not be alive. Right? And then there will be scarcity of the teachers, because one who knows will not be available to say that you are Brahman. And therefore, through example, he explains that prarabdha continues. Only sanchita and agami get destroyed. Prarabdha continues. He gives an example for that. Just as I will tell you before I conclude. Just as the karyam called fear of that snake continues for some time, even after gaining the knowledge of the rope. Even after gaining the knowledge of the rope that there is no snake, still that kampanam, etc. continues for some time. Same way, here also continues. That's a big discussion, and you will have to wait now, because there is going to be a gap now for some time. But anyway, I would like to discuss the topic when we meet again. So, Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.